Hello, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural webinar hosted by Northwood Consulting and GuestRevu. My name is Azam, and I would be the host today. Our first speaker will be Chris Alexandre, who is the CEO of GuestRevu. So, Chris, over to you.
Great morning. Thank you, Nizam. Let's get this up and we'll present the screen for you. Okay, so can I just check that everybody can see the screen clearly?
Yes.
Everyone's fine. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Chris Alexandre. I am the founder and CEO of GuestRevu. For those of you who don't know us yet, GuestRevu is an award-winning guest feedback and online reputation management solution that gives hoteliers the tools that they need to optimize their guest experience and online impressions of their business. Nizam and Amira asked me to discuss the role of digital marketing and specifically the role of online reviews in our industry moving forwards. The idea of digital marketing for hotels and other hospitality businesses is not new, but I think it will play an even more pivotal role as our industry begins to recover from the effects of this COVID-19 pandemic. For the last few years, even before our industry was turned upside down by the pandemic, we've been seeing an impact of online reviews on buying decisions increase over time. People trust online reviews almost as much as personal recommendations. People visit online travel agents and review sites when deciding where to stay, and having a good online reputation has been even more important than ever before and correlates with increases in occupancy and RevPAR for properties. The reason that online reviews are so influential is because they provide something known in psychology and marketing as social proof. All of us look to others for for clues on how to act and what to do. For example, when one person stands behind another at a counter, others will often stand behind them and a queue will start to form, even if they don't know what that's for. One famous experiment performed in a hotel shows that when people were asked to reuse their towels, they were more likely to do so when the note in their room said, "Other people have reused their towels," than when they were told, "It's more environmentally friendly to reuse your towel." Of course, none of us have a crystal ball and we cannot peer with certainty into the future, but we can, as they say in mathematics, work from our knowns to our unknowns. What we know about social proof is that it becomes even more influential when people are unsure, and we know that people are unsure about travel right now in the middle of COVID-19. In order to make sure that people want to travel again, we must remind them why the experiences that travel provides are worth the potential risks. And you need to make sure that they trust you when you say you've done everything in your power to mitigate those risks. This means that now is the time to really focus on your online reviews and your online reputation and making sure that you make the most of your social proof while you have time. During normal times, and of course, we will get back to normal times at some point, a healthy online reputation can be visualized with what we call the virtuous circle, which looks something like this. Ideally, after a guest stays at a property, he gives feedback, the hotel analyzes that feedback and implements changes to its operations where necessary, which leads to better reviews and therefore an improved online reputation. And ultimately, it means that more travelers will want to book a stay in your hotel. At each point in the cycle, you have the opportunity to improve your online reputation, become an active participant in how your business is perceived online, or capitalize on guest feedback for operational and marketing purposes. Of course, you may be struggling with low occupancy at the moment, which will have an effect on this virtuous circle, but there are actions that you can take at each point now, and as the market begins to recover, to ensure that you are positioned for a speedy recovery. Let's look at these all in a little bit more detail. After guests leave your property, They often have many valuable insights about what a stay with you is really like, and they can point out what you're doing really well as point out areas that you need to improve on. You may not have had many recent guests, but this doesn't mean you can't be creative in gathering insights. Although it's not a traditional part of the virtuous circle, we do recommend sending your past guests a questionnaire about what their future travel behavior will be like. You can ask guests questions about which leisure activity are you most looking forward to when lockdown measures are lifted? How far would you feel comfortable traveling once lockdown measures are lifted? Or what kinds of activities would you feel safe participating in? These things will all allow you to see which changes to your offering will be most appealing to the guests who are going to be traveling soonest. Once people begin to travel and you start to get guests through your doors, the best thing that you can do for online reputation is ask for reviews. 2019 research from Bright Local showed that 76% of consumers who are asked to leave reviews do in fact go on to do so. This statistic varies slightly from industry to industry, but asking for reviews from as many of your patrons as possible is the best way to ensure that you get recent, frequent reviews. Getting more reviews in more frequently than your competitors will give you an unprecedented opportunity to climb the TripAdvisor rankings, which are based on three things: recency, frequency, and overall volume. Using a TripAdvisor Platinum partner like GuestRevu allows your guests the option to send their reviews straight through the GuestRevu questionnaire into the TripAdvisor website. And because it's so quick and easy, we often see our clients see as much as a 300 to 400% increase in the number of reviews that are posted on TripAdvisor when using GuestRevu. The next step in the process involves analyzing guest feedback to identify operational insights. Essentially, this is understanding what your guests expect from a stay with you, what you're doing right, and what you can be doing better. This is made much easier as you can collect feedback from various different data sources, both online and direct feedback, into one consolidated view in the dashboard that allows you to isolate trends and compare performance for different properties and different departments. In the current climate, because you may not have that many guests coming through the doors to ask for feedback, you have the perfect opportunity now to look back on trends and patterns in the past and understand your guest experiences from a slightly different perspective. To assist many hoteliers, GuestRevu has actually decided to offer a free 6-month retrospective online reputation report to any property and the chance for an hour's meeting with one of our consultants for any hotels that have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic or lockdowns. So that's operational right now, and you can request that on our website. Once hotels start getting regular feedback back in, it will be important to keep analyzing this feedback, comparing it with pre-COVID trends, and watching out for any attitudes and sentiments that may have changed so that you can react promptly and adjust your operations accordingly. This then leads to a very important part of the circle of guest engagement, which is actually acting upon the insights that you receive from feedback. If you have the necessary capital and bandwidth, now is a really good time to make any large-scale changes to your marketing material or operations. Many of our clients are taking this downtime to really carefully analyze what past guests are saying about their favorite aspects of their stays, and making sure that all their online material, from social media profiles to online travel agent listings to their own websites, reflect what is actually proven to matter to guests, not just what they think that matters. If you can afford to do so, it's also a really good opportunity to make any large-scale or intrusive changes to your offering that would be more impractical with a hotel full of guests. For example, steam cleaning the carpets or repainting the lobby. However, now more than ever, you have a chance to make sure that you're only spending money where it will make a difference to guest experience. So using the feedback and reading those comments coming back to inform these decisions is absolutely critical. Competition, as the industry begins to recover, will undoubtedly be fierce. It will not be the time to drop the ball or to allow small issues to simmer and boil over. Making sure that you're on top of any service or maintenance issues will be really vital. At the request of some of our users, GuestRevu actually developed a tool called service tickets to help hoteliers make sure that issues are addressed or followed up on. With service tickets, as soon as a manager gets any feedback or notices anything that needs attention, he can create a task, assign it to the right person, and track its progress all the way through to completion. If hoteliers get these steps right, the next few phases in the virtuous circle of online reputation management are really much easier, to the point where it's tempting to think that you can just sit back and watch it happen. More great experiences for guests, and of course, asking for more online feedback leads to more positive reviews online, and that in turn encourages more guests to book with your hotel. Soon, you may well find yourself collecting more feedback than can be used to further improve your hotel's guest experience, which ideally is where you would like to be. It is, however, important to continue to be an active participant in your online reputation. Continue to make the most of social proof and encourage your potential guests through the next few phases by sharing the good reviews on social media and on your website. And responding to feedback that you receive from guests with management responses is a really important and key way to ensure that you're an active participant in managing your online reputation. A great and good management response shows that your business really cares about your guest experience and what your customers have to say. And especially in the case of negative reviews, a well-worded response can turn a bad situation into an opportunity. Some of the TripAdvisor research shows that responding to more than 50% of your reviews, sorry, we've had a bit of a power failure here. Sorry, are you still there? Have I lost you? Is everyone still there?
We're here, Chris.
Sorry, I beg your pardon. We've had a bit of a power failure. So if we go back to where we were, I think we were talking about the reviews. Let's see if we can rework this a little bit here to make this better. Let's talk through the rest of these slides here. I think the point that we were making was that responding to reviews is really important. And having a great ORM tool like GuestRevu makes it so much easier to do because everything is right there on the screen for you. Going back to some of the other points, remind people that traveling is worth it. I think there are a number of people the world over who are dying to travel again. I don't think that will be difficult. Use the social proof to inspire trust and to make sure that people are happy in their confidence in coming to your property. Be an active participant in your online reputation and monitor it carefully as you map your way through this. I think that was the summary of everything. It's about building travel confidence. And again, it underscores the value of an online reputation management strategy in a post-COVID world as we move forward through those things.
Chris, so as Chris mentioned, the free reputation management report is available for you all. If you'll see on the right-hand side, bottom corner, you'll see a free 6-month reputation management button. So Chris, there is one question so far. So in terms of, you suggest we ask all guests for reviews, but what about the bad reviews?
I think bad reviews are as important as guest reviews, as good reviews, I beg your pardon. The reality that we see is that there is no property in the world that has only good reviews. The bad reviews are often a good way for you to understand what you're not doing wrong and gives you an opportunity to get out there and correct it. And bad reviews, we have seen time and time again. If you respond to them properly, if your management response is on target and you can deal with those things, then it makes a huge difference, and it inspires a lot of trust in your property from previous guests.
Okay, thank you. So thank you very much, Chris, for your time. So next we have Nizam, who is the former Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Environment and Energy, Maldives, and who is also currently working in a capacity as a tourism consultant as well as a director at Northwood Consulting. Nizam, over to you.
Thank you, Azam, and good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. I wish to thank you, Chris, for your time and for the insights you have shared with us, everybody. And I'm sure it's going to be of great use for the tourism industry stakeholders. I'll be talking today about the tourism industry in Sri Lanka and in the region post-COVID, the new normal, and how we are going to deal with it. The impact, let's talk about the impact. The impact over the global level, internationally, it has been huge. Nearly 100 million jobs are lost. About 300 to 450 billion US dollars worth economy is being lost, according to UNWTO. And the global tourism came down to 30%, and now it's almost completely on hold. If we're going to look at the impact on Sri Lanka, we can see that the industry has a hospitality reach of nearly 40,000 rooms, and that is nearly 600,000 direct or indirect jobs, and nearly 600,000 families are affected. Sri Lanka had 1.9 million tourist arrivals in 2019. However, the tourism industry is at a standstill now, but still it will re-emerge again, it will keep growing. So we still hope, and we still have the hope that it will keep growing, it will still be there. What's happening now around the globe? People are now confined to their homes, and most of the countries, they are under lockdown, but most of the people are taking the opportunity that they have got while under lockdown. They are going online, they are going on social media, they are searching for their next holiday. People are looking for holidays to rest, reprieve, and regain. They are lost energy. Some people are planning to go holidays with family. Some people want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Some people want to go on a fun-filled holiday. So people are still looking for holidays, and they are planning, and they don't stop there. They know they are still the tourism industry is still alive, and they want to go on holidays. Now that we have got the COVID-19, the best is that we accept the fact that we have had it, and we learn to live with it. We need to embrace with difficult situation that we are in now, learn to live with it, and that is until we find a vaccine. We don't know how and when, maybe 12 months, 18 months, but we are not sure yet. But still, we have to learn to live with the situation that we are in. Tourism industry will reemerge, and it will be there, and it will go on. And now we have to recreate the strategy. We have to redesign the product. We have to redesign the service offerings. We have to adapt to the low volume, high price strategy that we'll be in. We have to train our staff to new normal, and we have to train them to the SOPs, reemerge and recreate, and we have to get a new approach to the tourism marketing now. We have to develop a new strategy. We have to redesign the product and service offerings, as I said, and we have to adapt to low volume, high price strategy because the airlines will be carrying less passengers. They will be maintaining social distancing. So with less passengers, they won't be able to, or they won't afford to fly unless they raise their airfare. This has been discussed now, and it is expected that they will raise the airfare. Ultimately, the hotels will have less occupancy, and they also can't run with less occupancy unless they increase their prices. So it's going to be low volume and high price strategy ultimately. The clients will be paying for privacy. Now the clients will need more privacy. They don't want to be in crowded areas, so they'll be paying for privacy, exclusivity, and more personalized services. We need to train our teams to adapt to the new normal. We have to plan, and we have to go back to the drawing board. The plan we had drawn for 2020 and 2019 will no longer be valid. So we have to get back to the drawing board. We have to start planning. We have to start recreating the strategy. We have to redesign and everything. Redesign the service offerings, the service portfolio, the products, everything. While planning, we have to keep in mind that we are going into a new normal. That means the life is going to be totally different from what we have seen in the past. And we have to keep in mind that we are not going to experience anything about 30 or 20% occupancy throughout next 6 to 18 months. Because all the airlines will not be in operation, and not all the clients will be flying. Let's talk about the product we have at hand, our hotels. We have hotels, bed and breakfast inns, we have service departments, we have F&B outlets, food and beverage outlets, we have bars, we have coffee shops, we have all types of different guest houses also we have. The hotels will require to redesign the service and rearrange the product offerings to meet the needs of conscious travelers. Travelers are very conscious, they are very well informed, and they are more conscious now because of the COVID-19. We can offer to rent the hotel for a group of upmarket clients on an exclusive basis. Either we can set minimum number of nights to 5, 10, 15, 20, or 21. The clients will look for extra measures in hygiene, social distancing. So this is to be very well taken care. The seating arrangements in the lobby or in the reception or in the restaurant, food and beverage outlets, in the bar, service offering in restaurants, coffee shop, bars should be rearranged. Everything has to be redesigned and arranged. Because the guests will avoid queues. They wouldn't like to long stand lines at buffets. They would prefer plate services. Some guests also might prefer to use disposable crockeries and cutleries. And if you go to the airport, you will have to arrange the airport transfers also in private cars, or they wouldn't, because the passengers wouldn't like to travel in congested vehicles. Let's talk about market segmentation. This is something very important we have to consider where we place our product. The best consumers or travelers to target for at least next 6 to 18 months will be middle to up market. This segment of the market in any geographical location will have higher purchasing power. They are less vulnerable to economic crisis. And with the post-COVID-19, holidaymakers will choose staycations. People will travel within their own country. or within the region, and clients will prefer to avoid long haul flights. Some travelers will choose to travel within their own country by land, while others will fly within the region 2 to 4 hours of short haul flights. Based on the distance, hotels in Sri Lanka may target middle top market in UAE, Singapore, Malaysia, or some cities in China, India, and of course the Maldives. And because in Sri Lanka we don't have a mass domestic tourism, so we have no option but to target regional countries. I mean, countries, neighboring countries, countries they are within 2 to 4 hours maximum distance from Colombo Airport, Colombo International Airport. Yes, we at the same time we have to keep in touch with our old partners, loyal partners, tour operators, wholesalers, retailers, even repeaters, even individual clients who keep on coming, loyal clients. We have to maintain a steady and good rapport with these people. They are an asset for the hotel because they'll be still working with us tomorrow, even today. If we talk about the pricing strategy, it's going to be price is not going to be a winning factor today at this situation, because in the months ahead, by lowering the price, we are not going to win anything. We do not need to go into price war. Rather, we have to adjust. We have to maintain a good price. I mean, a medium price. Even if we have to raise the price a little bit higher, because in order to maintain our overheads, in order to meet our needs every day, meet our expenses every day, we have to think about other factors like cutting down the costs and cutting down the operation and training the staff for multitasking. Yeah, as a result of airline airfare increase, of course, the clients will have to pay higher price to reach us to our hotels. And from middle to upmarket clients will be traveling at the beginning, so that we have to keep in mind. We will be going into digital marketing. We will not be doing any traditional marketing now for the next 6 to 18 months or even years to come, maybe, because we have started something new normal, and the people have learned the use of digital marketing. So digital marketing is going to be effective, and it's going to be the new normal from now onwards. Even if we have to organize a film tour, we have to do virtual reality. We have to organize film trips also through virtual reality or digital marketing and uh, uh, live streaming. Digital medium, we should maintain steady relationship with our partners, and then we have to go. We will not be traveling to the exhibitions like we did in the past. We will not be going to the road shows. We will not be going to the to do the door-to-door marketing, or we will not be doing personal selling. Most of the people, I think, almost everybody will be using digital marketing. We have introduced Zoom. A lot of people came to know about the Zoom, the importance of it, how easy it is to get together and to talk and discuss business and to arrange business meetings on Zoom and other various platforms. So it's going to be the digital marketing area from now on. Thank you.
So Nizam, we have one question for you. This is from yeah. So, is there a possibility to introduce luxury travel in Sri Lanka? I know that we do already have some sort of luxury travel available in Sri Lanka, but yeah.
Yeah, of course, there is huge potential in Sri Lanka for the niche market, traveler, and the luxury travel.
Yeah.
Here the question is, do you hear me? Here the
Yes.
question is, in fact, how do we define luxury? Okay, how do we define luxury? Is it all those plastics, artificial luxuries, or is it the nature, environment, ecological system? If you look, if you look at the luxury travelers, they always look for places that are less polluted, eco-friendly, more close to nature,
Mhm.
privacy and exclusivity, healthy cuisine, herbs, rejuvenating spas, etc. As you know, Azam, Sri Lanka has everything a modern, conscious, and well-informed luxury traveler will demand for. This is everybody will agree with it.
Yes.
In Sri Lanka, you have got beautiful waterfalls. Don't you have it? You have it.
Yeah.
Everybody
Many.
knows it. And you have got mountains, greenery, vegetation, tea plantation, and so on. I have to go on naming. I mean, so much is there to give. I mean, for a luxury traveler, all that we need is to sit down to do a tailor make it to cater the demands of the luxury travel market. I mean, that is how we make it, how we plan it, how we tailor make it, how we do the packaging. I mean, we have to we have to do a proper planning. We have to target it, and there are people the luxury travelers, of course, they will be coming to Colombo, Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka has got everything that a luxury traveler needs. Thank you.
Okay, so there is one more follow-up question for Ishfaq. So if Sri Lanka does look into high-end tourists, does the country have the resources to draw in this segment?
Of course, what are the resources do you need? You you have to the clients will be looking for privacy, security. I mean, they will be looking for exclusivity. These are things that you can arrange it. The resources are what the client will demand for, and you will do it. I mean, resources doesn't come on its own.
Yeah.
You have to create it. You have to arrange it for the needs of the customer, for the demands of the traveler.
Yes. Yes.
Do you need?
Okay. All right. Okay. So there is one last question. So on a personal note, do you like to comment in terms of what Sri Lanka does wrong in terms of marketing?
Sri Lanka is very. I don't know. I don't know. Sri Lanka is a very professional, very talented marketers. I don't think they will do anything wrong. Sri Lanka has done I mean, you can see it. I mean, you have had I mean, disaster in a couple of years ago. Only I don't know, and then how fast you gained it, right? You had
Hmm.
1.9 million after the problem. You had recently the Easter thing, and then this is how professional and how well trained, how people know Sri Lanka. The Maldives, we also learned from a lot from Sri Lanka. In 1917, when we started the Maldives tourism, it was Sri Lanka who helped us. We did
Wow.
combined package Sri Lanka and Maldives, and we learned a lot from Sri Lanka. Of course, Sri Lanka has a different product from Maldives. It's a totally different product, but still Sri Lanka has professionals. They know what they are doing. They have marketers. They have well-trained and well-professional, well-informed, experienced people. And I think they are doing it very well.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much, Nizam, for your time. It was wonderful seeing you again as well. So next we have Amira, who is the director at Northwood Consulting, a data-driven marketing and technology company based in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Amira, over to you.
Thanks, Azam. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having an insightful evening so far. And I thank you for tuning in today. I'm Amira. I'm the CEO of Northwood Consulting. We're a data-driven marketing firm based in Sri Lanka and the Maldives. Why we thought we should actually have this webinar is because we do understand that the tourism industry and its stakeholders, such as a lot of you who are tuned in today, are distressed with what's going on right now, and I'm probably even thinking if this will ever end or how to even recover from it. So let me take you through our presentation and maybe try and offer you a different perspective about the situation. I've also kept my presentation very simple so that you are from a marketing background or not, you could easily understand. I hope you all can see my presentation. All right. Okay, so let's lay down how bad things are right now. Nizam outlined the bigger picture of what's going on, but I'm just about to get a bit personal with you. So I'm sure all of you, travel agents, DMCs, and especially property owners are wondering how to go about things, especially when you have zero visitors, you have zero income. Yes, I completely understand. It's a very, very tough place to be in. Something else you might also be thinking about right now is with how volatile the tourism industry is it perhaps the right time to sell off my property? But let's face it, you're not baking bread where tomorrow, if people decide that eating bread isn't good, you could simply toss it in the bin and look elsewhere. But in an industry like tourism, you cannot simply do away with your property, especially with the property market not looking so great right now. The third biggest concern you have right now is, of course, uncertainty. We might not know when things will get back, when to expect our first post-COVID batch of tourists, or when we should actually start operations. But there is always two sides to a situation, and it's always good to look at the sunny side of things too. So here are a few things we could be a bit more positive about. First of all, whatever happens, people are not going to just stop the idea of traveling. Yes, so right now things don't really look good, and staying at home is probably the most advised. But traveling is something that you and I would always consider, be it on the weekend or a long holiday. The second best thing about tourism is travel and tourism has only shown an increase over the last few decades. So naturally, it is only going to keep increasing, provided we don't really face situations like COVID again. And third, of course, is COVID doesn't discriminate. So you're definitely not in this alone. Just as the tourism industry is going through a dip, so is every other industry, be it financial, transportation. Everyone is facing the music right now. So here's $1 million question. How do we get past this situation? And how can looking back at the data you have with you right now help you? So what I've done here is I've broken down the situation into 3 stages to help you understand why we need to focus on the now and how the data we have in hand can actually be used to better understand your customers. If the pandemic gave us anything at all, it's a lot of time. And it's a lot of time to ponder on the current situation. And that means to take a step back and reminisce on everything we have done so far. Everything we've done so far, it could be with your product. It's surprising. Have you been innovative enough with your product? And the golden question is, have you actually been doing your digital marketing effectively? Because I personally believe that the best of opportunities lie in chaos. And this is something I always tell my team, this is something I tell Nizam and Azam all the time, because chaos gives us perspective by putting us into situations we've never been in before. So now we have to think about facing this situation in a way we've never faced before. Let me simplify the marketing process for all of you who have tuned in today. I know a lot of you are not from the marketing background. What I've done here is I've simplified the process, the entire process, because if you aren't sure of this simple flow from marketing to sales, you could probably spending your cash in the wrong areas. Now, what do I mean by that? Simply put, marketing is the phase where we present information about a certain product to a potential customer. Okay, this simple cycle is common across all industries. So whether you sell ice cream or whether you sell a hotel, this is the basic process you need to pay very close attention to. But what you should also realize is marketing doesn't necessarily convert into a sale every time. And this could be for a variety of reasons, like the nature of what you're selling. So if you are selling a house, you aren't going to have a quick sale because you need to allow people to think on a decision that they would probably be spending millions on. Another reason could be that you haven't given them a lot of information at the marketing phase. So what you have done is you have unintentionally dragged the entire process. Whether someone buys your product or not depends on how well you present it to their eyes and how well you have been able to convince them into purchasing it. Just like how a hotel would present its properties with some really beautiful pictures put up on their digital channels. So why is digital marketing so important, and how has it and how will it help the tourism sector when it comes to making bookings? Let's have a look. what you're looking at right now is the complete life cycle of a customer who books a stay. So starting from the moment you start to think about traveling up until the point you book a stay and return home, digital has covered it all. Now, pay attention when I say digital, and I didn't mean digital marketing. What is it telling us about digital is another medium. So let's put it like this. In usual traditional media, you'd probably spend millions or even more on banners, gantries, TV commercials, and would have no indication as to how many customers you've actually reached and how many of them have actually turned into tangible revenue. So simply put, traditional media disconnects the marketing phase from the sales phase. And if you have tuned in today and are still a bit skeptic about allocating budgets in digital, let me ask you this simple question. What better way would you prefer than being able to control both the marketing and the sales phase of your product all through just a single platform? And that is the coolest thing about being a digitally marketable product, because you can pretty much watch a potential customer go from awareness stage. So in this stage, it would be the dream stage, awareness stage, to a paid customer within a simple process, which is digitized, it's quantifiable, and of course, you have all of this at the tip of your fingertips. So this is a very important area. So our next challenge lies not in about digital marketing, but our biggest challenge is in doing digital marketing effectively. But it's being able, and this would mean that you would have to understand your customers very, very much more. So here's an interesting take on marketing. We keep doing campaigns and focusing our marketing efforts on what we think will work. But how many of us know if this actually will work? This is why we need to look back on the data you have accumulated across all your digital channels and create a DNA of your customer. And when I mean DNA, I'm not talking about things way beyond what your Google Analytics dashboard says or probably your Facebook backend. But these tools only provide a very high level view of your campaigns, how your campaigns have worked. So while everyone is busy looking forward looking forward to post-COVID tourism, what are we going to gain out of looking back? I'm going to tell you how to utilize the now to monetize the tomorrow. So, like I mentioned before, challenge today is not in doing digital marketing, but it's about doing it effectively, right? So effective marketing is going to be your competitive edge over customers, because trust me, everyone else is also going to be doing digital and using the same mediums as you are. So what you should be doing right now is completely evaluating all your marketing efforts so far. And some of the very interesting questions you could ask yourself and your marketing teams is, why did we choose to market destination A over B last year? Why did we choose to use Google Ads over email campaigns? What information did we base our decisions on? Can we draw up trends of past customers? Why did these customers choose us over their competition? Do we know the exact demographics and psychographics of these customers? Were they actually interested in our product? Because no two demographics are alike. And this can be seen in a more localized example. For instance, if you look at a financial institute in Sri Lanka, you'd find themselves better off selling gold loans to residents in Jaffna over those living in Colombo, simply because Northerners hold on to gold as a measure of value, while those living in more urban areas would think otherwise. In summary, what I'm trying to say is you just can't keep doing guesswork for the rest of your years to come. You need to be more specific and have more understanding of what you are doing. So all of these decisions we make are based on information we are provided with. So for instance, on a daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly basis, we make hundreds of decisions, even simple things like choosing supermarket A over B, and more important ones like what education program to pursue or which candidate to vote for at the upcoming elections. So let's put it into perspective. Why was your product chosen over a competitor? What did you do right? And what were the deciding factors? So so what we can also focus on is how do we find out all of this? Now we need to understand we have to answer these questions, but how do we find out all of this? What data do we need to look at, and how do we make the data meaningful? I'm looking at it in two different ways. The data that you have right now, one way you could use it is to get your channels ready to be able to identify and target post-COVID travels for more effectively and precisely. And second, all this data we capture can actually be used to create more ease in our marketing activities by using it as a tool is social distancing. Now, that's very interesting. So first, let's look at how we can use your data in more detail to figure out these little questions I've asked you. We do this in-house in a three-step simple process. All right. So we first understand your data deeper. So that's where the identify stage comes in. So if you have an old website, you have old channels, that's great because you've got a gold mine. What we do is we dive deeper into all your channels so far. We understand trends in a more meaningful way. So this eliminates any ifs and buts in your marketing, so you could be crystal clear on what you want to do. In our second phase, using the data we understand, what could be improved in your channels, because unless you know what problems you have, how would you know what to change? So this would essentially mean that you could even say no to that new fancy and very, very, very costly website you thought might solve the problem, which thanks to all this data and analysis, we were able to resolve using just a few tweaks. The fasten stage is the third and the last. The fasten stage is where we bring together this newfound data of your customer, and then we combine it to do more effective and accurate marketing. Now, pay attention. I am not talking about going social media. I'm not talking about going Google ads. I am talking about taking a step back and looking at your marketing and in a holistic perspective, because if you're in the problem, you don't see yourself, you can't see the way out. But if you take a step back, then you understand what you can do better, what needs to be done, and then you can pave your way forward. Anyway, how does all of this help you? So basically, you don't need to do any guesswork after this time around. And accuracy of your targeting of customers becomes even better. So this is pretty much a holistic approach to managing your entire marketing process. My second point is, how can digital be used in an era of social distancing, especially in tourism? So as Nizam quite correctly pointed out, trade shows and exhibitions are going to be events of the past for at least the next 6 to 12 months, right? So, or even more. And whatever plans you made for 2020 and budgets you've allocated in terms of exhibitions and trade shows will now have to be reallocated into your digital channels. Also, apart from this, we all know that tourism has very important physical components, like the process of checking in when you arrive at a hotel. This aspect could be instead digitized, where you could instead have an online check-in platform. What tourism stakeholders should be looking at right now is to reinforce your digital channels, your booking engine, or your entire process that can reinforce the concept of social distancing. So if I am to summarize everything that I've told you so far, here's what you can take away. We have understood that digital could be used as a medium to take full control of the marketing to sales process and can be implemented across all industries. Digital mechanisms can also be used to replace physical components of a certain industry and is something that decision makers should focus on now. Thirdly, knowing your customers better today is more important than ever. So even before getting your marketing channels up and running, knowing your customers, understanding them a bit more is what you need to focus on right now. And having an overall understanding of how marketing works could save up a lot of cash. That's it from me today. Thanks for listening in. And if you guys have any questions, you can ask me.
Okay, thank you very much, Amira. So we have one question for you, which is from Chamit. Facebook is an effective platform to promote a local business to the local crowd.
Yeah.
Do you think it's effective for remote communities as well?
Okay. I would have to have, okay, so this, what is it? You're talking about remote communities are you particularly talking about Sri Lanka? Again, like I told you, marketing is based on demographics, right? So there is no one strategy that fits all if you're marketing, because if you look at how Facebook is used across the Asian regions, you don't have to look further. If you look at how people in India respond to Facebook ads, it's very, very different from how a Singaporean or a Malaysian responds to. So your question needs to be actually, it has to be read out in a lot of context, which I don't have a lot of context to, but yes, you can use it for remote, you can use Facebook to reach out to remote consumers.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have 3 more questions. So maybe Chris, Nizam, or Amira can give their thoughts on this.
Okay.
So let me go on the first one. So assuming a lot of us might go through anxiety, especially when it comes to traveling. So how are you planning on gaining trust with choosing your hotels as a COVID-free environment?
Sorry, Nizam, can you just repeat the question again for me, please?
Assuming a lot of us might go through anxiety, especially when it comes to traveling. So how are you planning on gaining trust with choosing your hotels as a COVID-free environment?
Well, if I can start, I think the important aspect is to continually talk to the fears that people have about traveling and make sure that the aspects of your property have been aligned to deal with those. So if it's about sanitizing or about cleaning or about social distancing, to overemphasize the efforts that you have put in to make sure that you've addressed those. I think the more you can communicate and talk with your guests, and the more you can understand what the fears are and what is causing the anxiety, the more you can look at the aspects of what you need to do in order to alleviate the anxiety that those people are feeling.
Okay, all right. Any other inputs from Nizam or Amira? Okay, thank you. So the next one I think is suited for Nizam.
Yeah.
So Nizam, do you think Sri Lanka can attract tourists who can come to Maldives?
Sri Lanka can attract tourists who come to Maldives. That means,
yes.
Do you mean to say that clients who come to Maldives usually they come for water sports, beach, sun, and diving, honeymoon, etc. In Sri Lanka, of course, some clients they combine their holiday with Maldives and Sri Lanka. Some spend 4 nights in Sri Lanka, 3 in Maldives. Some spend 4 nights in Maldives and 3 nights in Sri Lanka. There are clients who combine the holidays also because Sri Lanka has different types of product, different type of product. Right? So most Sri Lanka, you have culture and history, you have sightseeing, you have lots of adventure tourism in Sri Lanka. Maldives, we have more exclusivity, privacy, because as you know, it's one island, one resort concept we have in Maldives. That's to ensure maximum privacy and maximum privacy to the client and exclusivity. So the product we have at hand is totally different. But of course, certain things, yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. So we have one more. It's a general question as well. So what kind of areas to focus on training the staff to cope on this post-COVID tourism?
Who is going it? Chris?
I can pick that up. I think that each of us can answer this, but from a guest experience perspective, I think as I was highlighting in the presentation, I think it's important to understand what the areas of concern are that your guests are anxious about, and then sitting down and communicating with your staff to make sure that they're fully aware of what the concerns are, and depending on the property and depending on the team and the circumstances, agree whatever the methods are that you will use, and train your staff in those processes to make sure that once they get there, the property is living up to meeting those areas of concern and alleviating that. I think the biggest problem that the industry faces as a whole now is that, as everybody understands and as everybody has said, and a lot of our presenters today have confirmed, I think there are many people around the world who are dying to get back into traveling and to visiting. They want to visit the different areas, whether it's the Maldives or Sri Lanka or any other areas in the world. Everybody wants to get back to traveling, and they want to enjoy those benefits again. But there is a high level of fear and anxiety, and for a lot of travelers and tourists and guests, they're not certain what is on the other end when they get there, particularly if they haven't been there before. So I think as an industry, there is going to be a lot more need for all of the properties to do everything that they can to make those guests feel like everything is under control, like they've got the situation to hand and they understand what's going on, so that they can alleviate that and put guests at ease about traveling without leaving them feeling anxious and not sure of where they're going.
So I think the next one can go for Amira. So what other platforms are relevant for marketing tourism apart from Facebook?
It depends on what you're trying to see. This is why I went through the presentation in this manner, is because I wanted to make it a point to all of you listening today, is that there is no one size fits all. So what marketing platforms would suit your resort better depends on what your property is offering. Is it a star class property? Are you offering what is it? Is it leisure? Is it business? What is it? And then you have to understand what communities, what demographics you could target this to. And then through that demographics, again, you have to look at what are the channels you can target them using. So for instance, Facebook won't really be very effective for Singaporeans or Asians. But if you do want to attract Indians, that would be a really good marketing tool.
Okay, thank you. So there is one more question. So you guys can see it on the screen as well. So Sri Lanka's intangible cultural heritage is underutilized component in tourism. Any thoughts on the value of using this aspect of human heritage using digital platforms to offer immersive experiences to travel enthusiasts and interest groups overseas? Nizam or Amira or
Amira, do you want to say anything on it?
Hello.
Hello. Can I say something?
Yes, sure.
If you're talking about the culture and heritage in Sri Lanka, the cultural tourism and heritage history, you have got a very rich and vast history in Sri Lanka, even culture. I think the culture tourism and historical tourism also could be, shown to the world. You can attract customers, clients to come over and personally and have a sightseeing or culture tourism through digital medium, by using virtual tours, by using live streaming. So there it is possible that you use proper digital marketing, digital medium to reach the right people, to attract right customers or right clientele for these products. It is possible, yes.
Okay. Also, I think there is one one question for Amira. So in terms of the platforms available right now, what do you think is the most effective digital marketing platform to target Asians? I believe you answered this same question on your previous one as well.
Again, it goes to the demographics, right? So, for instance, Asians would be, again, like I said, the reason why I brought in the whole financial institutions giving out gold loans to northerners and not offering the same to people in the western province and other provinces is because even the same country can have different demographics. But in Asian, when you look at it he's probably asking me what are the best tools to use when it comes to general marketing. It is the usual tools you use. It's the usual platforms you use, the Google Ads, the social media platforms and all of that. But again, now he's also mentioned what is the highest cost per engagement rate, and this is also a very good question because if you travel across the Pan Asia region, if you look at cost per rate in India, your cost per rate in India would be really less, but your cost per rate across, say, Australia would be very, very high. Okay, so what you need to do there is you need to tweak which channels would fit the Australian market better and which channels would fit the Indian or whatever the Asian region markets better. But my focus today in the presentation is not even what channels you need to use. It's about understanding your data right now. So if you are not understanding your data right now, if you haven't seen who's patronizing your hotels or all of this, you've not understood a bit more, if you haven't gone deeper into why people are visiting your site, why people have chosen your hotel, what mediums you need to choose comes secondary after that point onwards. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So the last question for the evening, how can digital marketing help small hoteliers in Sri Lanka? Example, small villas, and how long it will take how long will it take to normalize tourism in Sri Lanka, as you think?
Hello.
Yeah, anyone can answer. This is the final question. Yeah.
Oh, do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, okay.
How digital marketing helps small scale hoteliers, small villas, and how long we take. Well, digital marketing is not actually for small or big or large or any particular entity. It could be even smallest hotel, 5 villas, 5 rooms. It could be even 100 or 1,000 rooms. Digital marketing can be effective for anybody. How you use it, how best or how good you use it is the question. How effective you are using it, whether you use in proper means, proper digital marketing. Is it only social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you are using, I don't want to go detail into it, but there are many ways of using digital medium. So you have to reach the professionals who are doing the best job, and they will do it for you. How long the situation will turn normal to Sri Lanka? It's not only Sri Lanka. The question is how long will it take the tourism industry to turn into a normal? The people, we cannot say, because we are not sure how long. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, 18 months. We are expecting, uh, as of now, maybe in July or June, some flights will start operation, and in November, some will start again long haul flights, and maybe 2021 summer, maybe it may be better, but possibly, of course, by if we have a vaccine, and even if there's a vaccine, whether it's going to reach how many people immediately, that's another question. So how long will it take to come to become normal, the tourism will be reinstated like that? I cannot say it now, because that is something that is always research going on, people talking every day, and that is going on. The situation changes every day. So that is how it is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nizam. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Chris from GuestRevu for participating and sharing his thoughts on today, and also Nizam and Amira for their time. And most importantly, would like to thank all the attendees who have coming to our inaugural webinar. And please do look forward on future webinars, which we would be hosting on a monthly basis. So thank you very much, guys. I wish you all the very best, and
Thanks,
hope
Azam.
and no problem. Hope and pray that we all get through this pandemic as soon as possible.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
See you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Find you on the other side. On the other side,